So much versatility in her utility, as well as what she brings to as far as a healer is concerned. I like the Cruel pick, but I will say into Grace, it's a little bit more troubling because Grace is able to deal with Cruel in those close quarter fights sometimes with that Holy Nova, with able to do those stuns. So I'm not sure I'm a big fan of the Cruel pick once you see that Grace on the board.
A lot of it's going to depend on what this last pick is now, and keep in mind, for the side of Nova, this Blackfeather is still a flex pick. They don't have to, show where they're going to run this pick until they see the entire composition of the side of Vision. So whatever this last pick is going to be, they can choose, okay, do we want to run a weapon Blackfeather into it, or do we want to run a crystal Blackfeather? How are we going to counter this in the lane? Because I really like the way that they ended up drafting this composition. It allows them a lot of flexibility with their final pick.
And Vox is going to be that pick. We've seen a lot of love for Vox, even over Ringo. I think that right now you can build him so many different ways.
Yeah, the Ringo pick could work here for the side of Nova if they want to run it. I think Ringo does very well against Vox in the lane. You have that range advantage. The concern then becomes the Kroll. Kroll can do very well into the Ringo by just charging at him, but you have the Achilles shots to be able to slow him down enough. Alongside the slows from a Grace and a Blackfeather, I think Ringo would actually have quite a bit of protection and safety in a composition like this. But maybe they go for something else that can dive in alongside the Blackfeather and the Grace. Just go for a triple dive composition. It's one of the ways to deal with a Churnwalker is just go all in and make that dive, start the team fight before Churnwalker can get himself all set with his chains. But they are going to switch it up a little bit, go with a Batiste. So Batiste, another one of these heroes that is kind of anti-dive. You can set up some really strong fights if you get a Fearsome Shade into a wall, or if you ordained the right targets, you can really kind of disrupt what your opponents are doing. But it'll be interesting to see how it works out with the rest of this composition.
Absolutely. Baptiste is something that we know Lone Delphi can play, but it's not Lone Delphi playing. It is going to be Starboy coming in here. Starboy also known for his Baptiste play, both as a carry and as a support. So this is a very interesting. The bans really are what's fascinating about these two teams. Again, looking to really focus on the changes to the teams and how they're playing and who's playing. Again, a lot of thinking going into what both teams want to play as well as what they don't want the enemy team to play. So I'm impressed. I love Vision. Vision's always been good at bringing out these cool drafts. So have Nova, which is why watching these two teams go head-to-head is a real treat.
Yeah, and I actually really like this Batiste pick as well because it's a pick that, Starboy has been known for, as well as Eco. Both of these two players have played this Batiste quite a bit, usually in the captain role for those two, but they've also, as a team, have run it as a jungler plenty of times. So it's a pick that Nova, as a roster, is extremely familiar with.
Yeah, and the fact that Nova can just flex and rotate their players around in different positions is really impressive. It's something that I think as they move into 5v5 will be very advantageous. And the fact that these players continually get practice in all these positions at the top is also really, really good for them. I don't know if that's what they're planning, and maybe that's how they're kind of approached this, is making sure that they are preparing themselves every single game. But it has been interesting. The risk is that you do allow a team like Vision to take advantage of some of those changes like they are trying to possibly do in this matchup. But we just are waiting for everybody to get into the party, and then we'll be kicking it off and looking to get into our second game. Vision looking good, Tasty, and this draft that they have is interesting. I have to say the Cruel really is going to be the problem child for Vision. It has to get a block early because he's going to be kind of targeted by both Baptiste and Grace every time he seems to go in.
Yeah, I'm also curious to see what the build path is going to be for both Kaz and PvP Warrior. I'm kind of expecting the weapon Vox with like a not necessarily weapon Kroll, but kind of that hybrid of tank and utility Kroll that we've seen a lot of teams run to go for, like a bone saw and maybe a poison shiv and then just full on tankiness. But there's a lot of different options that they could take this.
Well, they're definitely looking to try something unique. We've seen that Shiver Steel and kind of the more utility Cruel come out actually a couple times as well. So yeah, there's a number of combinations.
Yeah, Shiver still got a nice buff for heroes like Krull in the most recent update. And that's why we've seen a lot of heroes. We saw PvP Warrior with it in the previous game. I definitely expect to see one come out this game as well. But taking a look at how this jungle is going to start up, it does look like we're going to get that standard, both carries starting at the backs. And we'll see if they do end up meeting in the front or in the mid. Both teams have a fairly strong level 1, level 2. See Shaded Talent, though, taking a lot of harassment due to Eco. Eco actually has to take one of these minions and starts things up a little bit early for the side of Nova. We'll see what this first skirmish is going to look like. Looks like they don't want to let this one go without a fight, and so we could get this first early team fight here.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit of a tussle around this Elder Treant as both teams look to eye this objective. A lot of hesitation. Nova wanted to be a little bit more cautious. They're not being super aggressive, but it looks like Vision not interested in overcommitting to this, except change that. They are committing right now.
Yeah, that's going to be a side of Nova just backing off of this one. They did just recall so that they aren't going to be going for this fight. They did the same thing in game 1, but they took a little bit of time to do it this time around. But I think they should still be okay because during that time when they were recalling, Vision Gaming wasn't sure where they were, so it took them actually a while to actually go and take that Elder Treant. So now you can see the rotation timing. Starboy is already just about done with his second rotation, while Krull is just starting his. And so this second Elder Treant, when it does spawn, just should be doing here shortly, should belong entirely to Nova. And they're going to look to steal away some of these camps as well. If they can take that from Krull, Krull does get that cause. Nice job securing it. Although he is going to take a little bit of punishment in return.
Yeah, and that's it. You kind of expect that to happen with Krull. That's why I was fascinated by it with the Grace pickup, but then also with the Baptiste. It's going to be every time he goes in, he's going to have to get through either a Holy Nova or an Ordain. And you see right there, he had to back away. Couldn't even steal the Elder Treant because of the Holy Nova coming out at the perfect time. So good job by Nova. I like how they're managing their jungle so far in the early game. They're also not letting the lane get pressured too much, so we'll see if they corrected it. I think you saw one of the big mistakes they made in Game 1 was allowing Rona to just dominate in the lane. So now with the Vox, they've got to be careful to just keep PvP in check, or at least find some dominance in the jungle, right? Steal away, deny Cruel. You've got to deny one of them, because if you allow both to just, tread and keep trotting along, it is a roster. I mean, when you look at the Cruel and the Vox, those are heroes that will thrive in the late game, so you really don't want to let them get there.
Yeah, well, if you look at the CS numbers, you can see FPG actually has a pretty solid lead over PvP Warrior in this game. Very early on, but it's still about a 10 CS advantage that he's got going for him here on this Blackfeather. And that's not necessarily good news for a Vox. In the Vox Blackfeather matchup, it's a matchup that usually goes fairly even and can just swing the game pretty heavily if one of these two is able to get an early lead. But Vision Gaming, going down with this rotation, we're able to get control of this Elder Treant once more and find themselves in a position to go for it. Nova, they capitalize and go right up into the lane, getting a lot of damage onto PvP Warrior. Going to make his life as difficult as they can for now.
Yeah, I think tried to maybe bait that flask early as well, but he doesn't bite. Good job by PvP. Good awareness. He didn't need to use it. He was able to get out barely, but he survived that burst. But this is the kind of engage that you'd expect from a Grace Blackfeather combo as well with the Baptiste, and that's exactly how Nova, they're just utilizing their kits the way you would expect these heroes to play.
And PvP Warrior did just finish off his Poison Shiv and then goes into the backs with Kaz for a jungle clear. So getting a little bit of extra gold to make up for that CS deficit that he's currently suffering. The CS deficit has definitely grown, although it's about to shrink when he clears out this pretty large minion wave, almost a full double wave. Actually, it is a full double wave that he's going to be able to clean up here. And so that's going to close that gap by a pretty significant margin. Although the rest of Nova, the entirety of Nova, are here. Kaz is coming up from the back, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get there in time to make much of an
coming
impact.
in.
He is going to engage, but now they can just turn onto him. Kaz is now the target. And there's going to be a nice fearsome shade sending everyone away. Kaz still going down very low, but so are the members of Nova. Fountain had to come through. Great job by Shaded Talent, keeping everyone chained and getting that damage share. Hooks them all back in, pulls them together, and it's first blood going to Vision.
Very impressive play by Vision. You have to imagine, with a Cruel rotating from the backside, he's really exposed, and he played it so well. He did take up some stuns, he did take up a little bit of damage, but he had his flask ready to go, and after popping the flask, went right back in, and you got to be careful with Nova. Nova's not paying attention to the Churnwalker. The Churnwalker's locking everybody up and then keeping everybody really close, so they couldn't even properly disengage in this fight. Eco's back, but you can see with Nova's carries, FPG, and Starboy being so low, that is a lot of Vision now to just rotate down to the jungle without worrying about getting ganked.
Yeah, but they do have to worry about how much damage could end up being done to their turret here, as FPG has pushed this in pretty hard. And on this rotation, he's going to get he's actually going to give up on that damage. He knows that Vision Gaming should be rotating up shortly and didn't want to commit too heavily. A nice Holy Nova will get a double stun. Big Fearsome Shade onto Shaded Talent, but he's got all three members hooked. He pulls them back in, and as his team gets here, that damage share is immense. They find 2 kills. They get a third, an ace for Vision. Shaded Talent with just absolute balls there to stick around when he got so low.
They're baiting Nova so hard in these fights. They're allowing Nova to think they've won it, but then, when they try to get away from the fight, it's the Churnwalker who's distributing that damage, keeping it in. Of course, PvP, the Vox works so great with Churnwalker because he's doubling up on the shared damage by also sharing it with Residents. So,
that's going to be a big trespass stun that saves PvP Warrior's life and sets up the kill onto FPG. Shaded Talent is just playing incredibly this entire tournament, but especially here in this game. Setting up a couple of kills now, and just more pressure from Vision Gaming as Kaz, he's in some trouble deep in the enemy jungle, but this is all just buying time for PvP Warrior to take down the second turret of the game. Just 7.5 minutes in. These minions, no, the minions didn't finish the turret. And so the turret's still going to stand, and now PvP Warrior is in trouble as well. Kaz somehow still alive on the backside of this. They finally get the kill on the PvP Warrior. Kaz is going to fall as well, and somehow that turret is still standing, but that was a very close to that turret falling. Nova, they do finally get a few kills on the board, but what are they going to be able to get as a result?
A little one shot from the minions seems like it'd be enough. But it has been really Vision dominating this series, Tasty, and dominating this game so far. I know they didn't play that well. They didn't get the turret, and I think Shaded Talent didn't get into position soon enough to help out the Cruel. They kind of were playing a little bit hesitant, but again, it's because they were in a kind of an awkward position on the enemy side of the jungle. Overall, Vision just they've been winning the team fights. They've been winning the objective count now, and Nova have to find something. A lot of this is going to come down to Nova hitting some power spikes and then capitalizing on it before Vision can react.
Yeah, and speaking of power spikes, look at the item difference in these laners. PvP Warrior having both of these offensive items, the Breaking Point and the Poison Shiv. FPG does not have his second offensive item, despite having a large CS lead. Up until just now, is about a 20 CS lead still. PvP Warrior just cleaned out that minion wave and caught up pretty heavily, but this was very surprising to see PvP Warrior have this much of a lead, and that just goes to show how important the objective game actually is. Because they've been having this objective control, the side of Vision had the item lead, despite not necessarily having the CS lead. And here comes another fight. Krull goes on in, does block the Holy Nova. Nice silence comes through, also gets blocked. There's going to be a lot of damage. Shaded Talent has that ultimate still. The trespass comes through now. Stuns up too, because the third was already dead. And it's another ace for Vision. They are just dominating these team fights.
Yeah, Vision have this game under control right now. And when you look at the power spikes coming out, it's really, the problem has been the Baptiste got behind right at the point where he's looking to start, scaling up to that second tier 3. A Clockwork, while it does provide a lot of utility, isn't going to provide the damage. And now that they've kind of been playing from behind, struggling really even to get any jungle farm, it's put Starboy a few, maybe 4 or 5 minutes behind where he probably wants to be. And at 10 minutes, you really wanted to have that Shatterglass build or whatever he was planning to build on that as a second item. And so I'm not sure how you recover in time to stop basically the Cruel and the Vox just to snowball. And they're going in for another one.
Holy Nova gets blocked. The chains are connected onto all but Starboy. He pulls members of Nova back in. Trespass does get blocked. Nice reflex block by Eco. But will it be enough? They're continuing to chase the Ordained. The silence is starting to come through as well. Eco does have the ult still, so he could get a heal out. But he's going to be targeted down and taken out by the Spectral Smite. And now Vision Gaming, they're looking to go very aggressive here underneath this turret. Fearsome Shade does get blocked by Kaz, but he's the only one that got through. Shaded Talent just soaking up so much damage from this turret as they try and find these kills. Very aggressive positioning from Vision. They do finally have to back off as they don't have minions anywhere close to getting to this turret now. And it's a 3-on-3. They may have just overstayed their welcome. FPG is looking for some damage here, but he's not going to be able to find it. Does finally get the kill onto Shaded Talent. Meanwhile, up on top, Starboy gets 1v1 by PvP Warrior. Kaz still very durable, but in a 2-on-1 situation, I don't see him getting away from this. Blocks the Holy Nova, keeps himself in this one, but now the Crystal Sentry applying some slows. He's going to end up falling, but again, just buying time. This is something that Vision Gaming do so well, just buying time for PvP Warrior up in this lane as he gets his minion wave finally pushed into the turret. Gets a little bit of damage onto it, but he knows that he has to leave, otherwise he'd be risking giving himself up as well.
Yeah, good job. I'm actually surprised Starboy didn't manage to get that kill, so we didn't get to watch the whole thing. Did turn up there just to see the final blow on the Starboy, but that would have been a completely different fight. I mean, if you take out you take out PvP soon, you're not going to lose that turret. You're not going to be in that situation or have it get that low. So, again, the turret doesn't go down, but it's very, very low, and you didn't get the ace that you were hoping to get either. So, Nova still, the chance for them to get back into this game is slipping. That window is shrinking.
Yeah, Vision Gaming, they do need to make sure that they don't make too many mistakes like that, though. I mean, they vastly overstayed trying to overcommit, going for those kills into the enemy base, going under that tier 3 turret and beyond. The couple of times that they've given up kills has been just clear mistakes from their part and just overconfidence very likely, but now they're going in for another fight. Nice block on the Holy Nova, preventing those stuns from coming through. Fearsome Shade gets thrown. PvP Warrior is about to drop, but the Trespass again keeps him alive and allows them to turn this fight right back around. That time the Holy Nova gets the stuns, but it doesn't matter because the double kill and the ace on Vision Gaming again in these team fights. Shaded Talent, these Trespasses are just saving his teammates' lives.
And he's already got that Echo. I mean, he is basically what you would consider a max build captain at this point. He's got all of the items he needs. I'm sorry, that's not an Echo there. My apologies, that's just Turbo. He doesn't have the Echo yet. He's just having that low cooldown on the Trespass. So, he's got all the items short of that Echo, as I stand corrected. And that is just so hard to deal with. I mean, Churnwalker is a very powerful captain, and allow the whole team to just get to this point where they're basically going to be unstoppable. And Nova, I don't know what's left in the tank for them. I don't know what else they could pull out. They're going to have to hope for a miracle. And a lot of that's going to come down to maybe capitalizing on a Vision mistake, but also getting more blocks and blocking out these crowd control items. You got a silence and you've got a couple stuns. If you can block those effectively and not get slowed up, then you're starting to look at a fight you can win.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Kroll ultimate should not be an issue. You have Starboy who has his own reflex block. FPG can block it with the Rose offensive. And at that point, you just have to worry about the silence and the Trespass. I think the Trespass is the biggest one to worry about. There goes the silence from the wait for it, and that's already worn off. So now it's all about this Trespass and using the Crucible to block that out. Trespass gets used. It does get blocked, but the Kroll ult hit onto Starboy, and so he was taken out of this fight, unable to contribute. And already now FPG is down. Starboy is going to fall, and right after will be Eco. Another ace for Vision Gaming, and they are in firm control of this one.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see Crystal Cruel play effectively like this. It's something we just have not seen in the competitive scene. It's probably been one of the longest unused build paths for Cruel out of in a very, very long time. I mean, really, when you think about heroes that were known for both crystal and weapon paths, we've seen weapon voxes, we've seen crystal voxes, we've seen basically everything, every hero go crystal or weapon competitively except for Cruel in a long, long time.
Yeah, well, now Nova, they need to try and find a fight here. Nice stun from the Holy Nova, but it's really only getting damage onto Shaded Talent. He's a Churnwalker. He's going to heal this up once his team goes back in. That's exactly what's happening now. They do block out the Ordained, and you can see the damage getting done. The Trespass finds another stun, and this is going to be everyone from... Oh my goodness, no, he doesn't get the healing from the Fountain in Time. FPG does fall, and with one kill... It's just going to be Vision Gaming looking to end this one out, dodging out the Holy Nova once again, just keeping everyone at bay while PvP Warrior works on this Vein Crystal. That is all that they need to do, and this will be game number 2 of this best of 5, going the way of Vision. They look for a couple of kills just to pad those stats out a little bit more, and they find the 3rd kill. Doesn't get the ace because FPG had respawned, but they get the ace in their hearts, and they take down the Vein Crystal, and that's all that matters.
Unbelievable job by Vision in this series so far. I mean, going in, and we talked about these games would probably be close, and the game 1 definitely was, but this game was just completely dominated by Vision. You got to feel good. I mean, they have to be just absolutely stoked. The way they've been handling draft, it's been creative, but it's been effective.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things I've